Hey guys, this is my favorite video to make of the year. I gathered over 20 examples of things you see from people online that you'll be playing against and how to defend against every single one of them. If you're a new player, if you've been playing the game for years and you're ranked high, you're bound to find at least 5 to 10 examples that you're going to apply to your game after watching this. Three things to note before we get into the gameplay. The first one, people are going to ask, what strategies do I use? They don't matter. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of creators saying this strategy is the best, this strategy is the best. Last year, the GWC winner Regs, probably the best player in the world. For years, he used base strategies. I made this video with the intention that they can be applied. Everything seen in this video can be applied to any strategy that you use. Two, everybody online plays the same way. Obviously, it's not true for 100% of the time, but 80 to 90% of the people that you play against online in NHL 23 do the same things. So these clips I gathered are what the majority of people will do. So if you take what you see in this video, apply to what you do on defense, you should start winning a lot more games, shutting down 90% of your opponents, and I'm extremely confident in that. And three, the final thing before we get into gameplay, turn off auto backskate. You'll notice as we go through the clips, defending, you're a lot more agile. It allows you to maintain better gap control. So first thing you do, turn off auto backskate. So let's get into the gameplay. I'm excited. The first thing we're going to look at is how I defend in the neutral zone. So as we're going through this clip, pay attention to some of the player switching that I'm doing and the lanes that I'm moving them into. All right, so let's play this clip back slower. What a lot of people do or like to do in NHL is reverse the ice. So here we see the pass made to Yossi after he turns around. One thing I like to do to counter that is doing a manual player switch to the far side player I have here to apply a little bit of pressure back to the puck carrier, but also cover that passing lane. So I'm not overcommitting to either side. We can see there I turn it the last second just to maintain that gap. I see that he's probably likely leaning the pass and I throw a poke check. I'm able to get the puck back. In this clip, I'm going to show something I like to do when defending the neutral zone, and that's always attacking an opponent's forehand side, whether it's the pass receiver or the player that's carrying the puck. So playing this clip one time here. Going back through this in slower speed again, we can see here another manual player switch. Like I said, he reversed the ice a little bit, but I'm switching to that far side guy. Usually whenever people do this, they have a tendency to always try to do a quick cut here. So this person's cutting to the right side, or his right side, my left side, on his forehand side. I'm trying to anticipate these, so instead of going straight at him, I'm making it cut to his forehand side. I think he gets a little lucky there in being able to get the pass off, but once again, I'm anticipating the same thing. He's trying to do a zone entry here with Duchesne, passes to Giroux. I know whenever he gets the puck, he's going to keep skating on his forehand side. So as long as I wait there, I'm just going to get the puck right back. Here's another example following that same exact logic. Playing this one back in slow motion, we could see that we force him to the outside. Once I see that that pass is being made to the inside, now obviously he does have speed heading to his forehand side, but most players feel more comfortable on their forehand side. So once I switch back to my defenseman, I'm attacking that forehand side. He's likely to go to his backhand. Players are less dangerous on their backhand. So I'm always making the assumption, go to the forehand side, likely get the puck back. Sometimes it's good to mix in some aggression whenever you're playing in the neutral zone or defending a breakout, and I think this clip here shows why. I make a guess on this play that Gaudreau, the player he's using right here, is going to continue that straight line towards the boards, and I try to throw a poke check to create a turnover here. He makes a good play in hitting his streaking defenseman there on the breakout, but once it gets to this point, he doesn't really have too many options on my right side of the ice or his left. He can pass back to his other guy there, but he's probably going to keep streaking on his forehand side. Seems to be a redundant theme through these last two clips. Because if he goes to the right side, I do have a guy in the middle there, and I do have a defenseman on the back right. So once I see that he makes that pass, I'm switching back to my left defenseman here, attacking the forehand side. He's likely to do a shift there to try to enter the zone. Very easy to read. And I think that's one of the benefits of applying pressure in the neutral zone. When you apply pressure, players rely on their instincts rather than actually like what they see on the ice. So once again, right here, he has speed. He has to think fast. He doesn't really have time to process a lot of what's going on. When players don't have a lot of time to process what's going on, relying on their instincts, likely to lean towards the forehand side like this in this situation, or the side that's open. You can take advantage of that by applying pressure where they perceive there's an opening. I'm going to play this clip slowed down from the beginning because this is the most common way that people play in NHL 23, and that's straight lining or skating down the boards with a fast player. In this example here, it's Dylan Larkin, so I turn the puck over. Once I see that a player is fast, right? So we have Larkin with the gold wheels ability, fastest player on the ice. I'm not really attacking him because if I do, I'm probably going to get burned on the outside. So I'm just trying to maintain decent gap control. And I think this distance right here, what I'm showing, is ideal for these scenarios. I force him to the outside. Once I get close enough, he slows down a little bit. You're able to throw a poke and get the puck off him. Don't play too close. Looking at this play again and looking at the gap control maintaining, like I said, early switch back to the defenseman, not attacking, not getting too close. Auto back skates off, so I'm able to skate with him. So this is a perfect example of why you have to turn that off. Watching this play back in slow motion, again, this is a common thing seen at least a few times a game. Once a person hits that corner, I'm switching to that back checking forward. Players love trying to skate right back in front of the net, reversing and going for a cross crease. I'm pulling Morrison down just to block that every single time. If you're facing multiple people on the rush, maybe it's not a 2-on-2, maybe there's some help already in the play. This is a clip to help that. As you can see, I'm still maintaining decent gap control. Once he makes that cut to stop up, a lot of players like to do this, especially at the higher level too. They're waiting for one of those wingers to streak towards the net. I'm switching back to my defenseman to cover the guy that's hitting towards the net. Once they cut up, switch down, cover the guy cutting towards the net. I'm waiting on his forehand side. That pass isn't there. He's forced to go elsewhere. Still maintaining between the puck and the net in case a shot comes. Maintaining those passing lanes as well. And that's just general good defense. Once again, this is the cut I mean that players like to use. They stop up high, especially carrying it in with a defenseman. They're waiting for that winger to cut towards the net to make that pass. Don't chase him. Cover the guy that he's passing to. Cover that forehand side. He can't make that pass. Something that people complain about a lot is the self-sauce. If you don't know what that is, it's whenever a player hits R1 or RB, does a self-sauce pass to themselves, and it picks up speed a little bit, it seems. I'm still not 100% sure on that. But it's pretty easy to defend, honestly. What you want to do is just maintain proper gap control, like in a lot of instances like here. So once I see that he hits that self-sauce, it leaves him more prone to being hit. He's away from the puck. If I'm close enough, I'm going for a hit just like I did right there. Separate him from the puck. I'm able to get it back. Here's another example. It's not a self-sauce, it's a deke, but the same rules still apply. Maintaining decent gap control. Once they make that first move in here, this example, it's a deke. They're away from the puck, more prone to be hit. Once that happens, throw a hit. Pretty easy to knock them off, get the puck back. Now I'm going to show what I think is the best way to defend a 2-on-1. Obviously not every situation is the same, but I found this way to be the most effective. As you can see here, I'm kind of maintaining a lot of space in between. I'm favoring the pass receiver a little more. If he makes his pass early enough and the guy gets the puck, I can react because I'm closer to the pass receiver. But as we move in, I fake covering the pass receiver right there. I'm leaning more towards him. Once I do that, it leads the player to think that, oh, they should take the breakaway, they should take that chance, or maybe cut into the net. Once that happens, I cut right back to the person that has the puck, and I try to throw a poke check. I throw the poke check either to knock the puck off, or if they do pass it, it'll likely break up that pass. Once again, a lot of space in between, fake covering the pass receiver. Once I do that, they like to think that they have space to make a move. Cut right back to the guy, be aggressive, throw a poke check. Here we have an example of a 2-on-2. A lot of similar gap control here. Like I can see that he's leaning more towards his backhand here. I'm forcing him towards the boards, which is always a good thing. At no point does he make a move towards the middle. Once he does that cut, auto back skates off, as mentioned before. I'm able to skate with him, able to maintain that gap. Once that second guy comes in, I start to skate more towards the middle a little bit. He's on his backhand. He's not a shooting threat at that point. He makes that pass. I'm able to intercept it. Looking at this play again and the importance of maintaining good gap control, I don't close in until he's all the way on the boards, right? I want to make sure I can cover that option of if he switches to his forehand and cuts towards the middle. He doesn't. I throw a poke check. An important thing to note, once I throw that poke check, it doesn't really connect. I'm cutting right back down to cover that forehand side. If we look, he did cut to the forehand. I was there to cover it in case he didn't. Forced him right back down to the outside here. Throw a poke. He went to his backhand. The threat's not there. I move towards the middle to cover that pass. I want to show this next one because it's actually a play I get beat on initially. He had his winger on the boards past where my guy was. So he's able to push the puck up, gain some speed, but I'm still able to get back. Instead of being aggressive to the outside, I wait for him to cut to the middle. Of course, if he would have continued that straight line down the ice, I probably would have skated with him, but he cuts back to the middle. I'm still able to maintain close to him as he cuts towards the middle there. He does his cycle inside. Once he does that, I'm able to read that play. Most people, as I said before, are trying to just force a cross crease. As long as you protect close to that net, cover that lane, pretty easy to stop him. Looking back at this play again, switch back to the defenseman. Like I said, skate with him. If he does continue skating straight ahead, obviously I would continue following that line. A lot of players love to do that L2 move and pivot to the middle. When auto back skates off, it's easy to follow them as they make that cut. Cover the lanes. He doesn't really have any options. He can't make that shot initially. Once again, most people, they love forcing the cross crease, just be in that lane. Something you've probably seen 1,000 times, players love going behind the net, right? And you want to force them there. It's not a bad thing. This person doesn't really have any options here. The cross creases are covered. There's a goal line shot there, assuming if the guy knows how to do it. A lot of people don't. We might see that change as the year goes on. Maybe the defensive meta will change that way. But like I said, it's okay to force people behind the net. Don't follow them. As you can see, I have my controller on the opposite side defenseman. Once I see this person making that cut, it's hard for them to reverse course. So I'm going right for that big hit. You can either go for a hit or you can board play. Board play is probably the safer option. But I noticed this person had a female skater in hut this time. So assuming the size difference, easy to make that hit. Hopefully I don't get a penalty. But force that turnover and I get the puck out of the zone. Same setup, different scenario to the last example. What happens when you force that opponent to the boards and instead of going behind the net, they go back to the point? One thing I like to do here, you can see I had control of the bottom left defenseman anticipating that behind the net movement. He doesn't do that. He goes back to the point. As soon as I see that play happen, I'm switching to the opposite side forward at the top left of the screen. And I'm applying pressure for that D-to-D shot, or maybe he's going to cycle and just pass to the point. I'm able to get the poke on there. If I was half a second earlier, it would have been a breakaway the other way and likely a goal. Looking at this play one last time, as you can see here, I did have my control on that bottom left defenseman, anticipating either that pass or maybe this guy going behind the net. Once he commits to going to the point, I'm switching to that opposite side forward, playing that. This is a scenario that happens probably 5 to 10 times a game. Especially either between behind the net or going back to the point. Once you get those player switchings down, it's very easy to shut people down. Finishing off this last example of covering the point and why I think it's important. Starting off, maintaining good gap control, maintaining between the puck and the net. You're likely to block a lot of these types of shots just as long as you're in that area and between the puck and the net. Once again, covering the point here. He doesn't have that one-timer option. Still, people like to pass to the point. These are the types of shots you want to give up, right? That's low percentage. If I'm playing covering the passing options, it kind of just leaves those low percentage shots. I'm comfortable giving up 10 to 15 of those a game. This is probably the longest clip of the video, but also my favorite because this is somebody that I'm playing against. It's like your typical, the word for it's hut hero that's running behind the net, looking for the same cross crease attempts or wrap attempts that pretty much everybody does in Division 1. But these people are also the easiest to stop, I find, just because they're so predictable. You'll notice his whole possession. He's not really getting any opportunities. I'm skill zoning, as people call it, but it's the best way to play against these types of players. They're going to do the same thing over and over and over again. Very easy to stop. I'm always trying to maintain between the person that has the puck and then passing options, not really giving him anything, covering that forehand side. He keeps going behind the net, bringing down my forwards to cover that wrap attempt. Finally going for the board play. And then later on in the possession, after I get the puck, I don't understand why people make offense so hard whenever you can do very simple things like this. So this is me. You just saw this guy skate in a circle for 30 seconds. Just take a point shot. They get deflected in NHL 23. So let's go back through this play and see how easy it is to stop these types of players, right? So kind of keeping them to the outside. One common play people love to do, they'll skate backwards behind the net and look for that pass back for that easy one-time goal. So right whenever he gets here, he's going to try to pass back to that player that's on the right side of the net if they cut. It's a goal that got popular last year. Pogues is great at doing it. So one thing I like to do is just wait right here to see if that pass back happens. I'm between him and the puck receiver, so that's not going to happen. Once he goes back to the other side, I'm switching back to my opposite defenseman and just covering that wrap attempt. If you are pretty good at switching players in this game, I know it's not always the best and sometimes it's glitchy, but if you practice it enough, it's really easy to stop these types of players. Going forward in this possession, he's just doing the same thing, right? He's circling around, not really doing much, looking for the same types of plays, right? So he goes back behind the net. I'm covering the slot in case something's there. He's doing the same thing, tries to go in front of the net. I'm able to get a poke check off. Always maintaining that good net front presence so there's no passes that can get through. And I'm assuming it's the same thing here again. Nothing's there. He's just going to keep doing the same thing. He goes behind the net again, bring that forward down, apply pressure, board play, and these people shouldn't be scoring any goals. These last couple clips, I'm just going to go over a couple forechecking things I like to always do. There's a loose puck in the corner in the offensive zone. Whenever somebody picks it up like an opponent like this, I like to just charge no matter what towards the boards. People feel very comfortable on the boards, right? They're going to shoot it up the boards, maybe a saucer pass or something. That's where the comfort is in hockey in general. So I'm always trying to apply pressure there on the forecheck. But there's some situations where I might not, so I'll get into that in the next clip. Going back to something we discussed earlier in the video, and that's attacking the forehand side. I like this on the breakout too. So looking at this player here, most people run offhand defenseman, right? So lefty on right side, righty on left side. And that leaves either they're going up the boards or they're going to make at some point a cut towards the middle. And it's good if you can anticipate when this cut will be made. He starts to run out of room here. He doesn't have an option up the boards. His only option is to either cut back, stop, and skate backwards, or to make a cut towards the middle. So I'm able to anticipate that and get a decent chance off this turnover. And that's something you just have to remember as you play people. You kind of see tendencies as periods go along. Are they passing up the boards a lot? Are they making that cut towards the middle? The hardest people to play against are the people that are unpredictable. And for those, it's probably best to err on the side of caution and play a little bit more passive. And that is it. That is the defense video. The only one you need to watch for NHL 23 will probably apply to NHL 24. The meta doesn't change year over year too much. That's why I did try to focus on the rush and breakout quite a lot. Just because once somebody gets into the zone, it's really hard to create those chances. Especially that longer clip I had towards the end of the video showing that guy that was just circling the whole time. That's most of the people you'll play against online. So if you watch that, it's easy to shut them down. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, click subscribe. I apologize at some points if I seem tired. I have an 8-week-old daughter at home, so a lot of lack of sleep in this household. And if you ever want to reach out to me, the Discord link is down below in the description, so I'm always in there responding to things. But I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.